What is up, everybody? Andrew Cooper here, Fantasy Alarm. We are live from the Cape Cod studios, as you can see. Pretty decadent setup here that we really only save it for the most exclusive shows, for the most important shows of the year. And that's this one. That's this week. This is the holy week of football, is it not? Thanksgiving week. And it conveniently offers my friends time off from work so that we can hang out and talk a little ball with you. So, folks, welcome on in. Two of my very favorites, Wyatt from JWB and Linda, whose kicker rankings live over at MB Fantasy Life. What's up, gang? I want to start with Linda. I know you guys are both master chefs, but this week Linda was the head chef for Thanksgiving. How did it go? How'd it go?
I only had like one small panic attack when I couldn't find my potato peeler. So I got some practice with my paring knife, which was always good. But everything it tasted just like my mom's, which was my ultimate goal. So I crushed it.
If you can
do it again.
I think that's everyone's goal, is to cook like their mom, like just because that's the food that you like, right? So if you can replicate that, it's a beautiful thing. And Wyatt, I know that you had a little small thing going on, but you are an actual chef, so I'm sure everything was great with that, I imagine.
I had a great time. I enjoyed my food.
Perfect. Excellent. So, folks, today, here's what we're doing. We're going to go through and hit on every matchup. Even though there's already been 3 games and there's another one today, there's more games this Sunday than there is next Sunday because there's no bye weeks this week. They loaded us up. They knew that this is a special weekend. So we have a full slate of games to go through. What we're going to do is we're going to hit on every single game, and we're going to pull out the very top matchups, and then we're going to see how many of those we can sneak into an FFPC lineup. If you guys have never played over FFPC, get set up over there. Use promo code Coop. They'll give you $25 when you deposit $35 or more. But the cool thing about this format is that you can start essentially anyone you want with one rule. There's no draft. There's no salaries. There's none of that. The only rule is you can't start 2 players from the same team, which I kind of like because sometimes you get stuck with somebody hits you with a stack and like Burrow throws 3 touchdowns to Jamar Chase and you basically lose if you didn't have those guys. No stacking here. You can only pick one Bengal. You can only pick one player from you guys' amazing favorite teams, the Browns and the Broncos. I know we would love to load up on that Monday night game, but you can't, guys. Okay. One player from each team. So are you guys ready? Prepared for the challenge?
Ready.
I'm prepared, but don't put the Broncos on the Browns level. You're like both of you guys as great teams with sarcasm. We're performing above expectation.
Sorry. Yes, we have my favorite team. My dad's got the Patriot stuff going here. We're hopeful. I think is the word we would use. But also bad. The Browns, eternally hopeful.
We don't have to talk about it. We can just.
But also bad. And then you guys with the Bonami code. But look at that. We got the chat popping in here. Angie, what's happening? Toronto Dave and Linda. Look who it is. Auntie.
That's my girl, Auntie Coop.
Auntie Coop in the house. She's been rocking the bracelet you made her. She was here yesterday for Thanksgiving. Talking about, she was fired up about likes for Laney. Toronto Dave's thing he drops in the chat. So she's very excited about that. She's in there early. Before we get going, we did have a 1-start sit. Lou Brew popped in. If anyone put one in before the show started, I know people like to do that. I actually, with this setup, it's kind of bad. So I can't see like any of the YouTube stuff that was in here before. So if you put a question in before the show started, hit me with it now. Lou Brew asks, good morning, good afternoon. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving with friends and family. We did. Start sit question. Standard league, Garrett Wilson or Jordan Addison? I'll go to you on this one, Wyatt. How do you feel about that in standard?
Yeah, standard changes things a bit because the Jets aren't scoring that many touchdowns. The Vikings are looking pretty good. Still, I would have a lot of trouble putting in Jordan Addison over Garrett Wilson personally. Just talent, target share, that kind of thing. We know Addison is second fiddle to Justin Jefferson, can be set, third fiddle if TJ Hawkinson is heavily involved in any particular game plan. It's close. It's much closer than it would be normally in standard, but I'm still going Wilson.
Exactly. And you got to recognize how much matchups matter, right? Like Jalen Johnson last week gave Justin Jefferson a hard time, and Addison and Hawk did good. Linda, do the Cardinals have any cornerback that do you think is going to be able to stop Justin Jefferson this week?
No. I think Justin Jefferson probably going to get a get right game.
Yeah, he's probably going to make it into our lineup. So why don't we pull out our eggnogs and pull up the sheet for our show here that I absolutely know how to do on this computer very quickly.
Seamless.
Look at that. Incredible. Yeah. And the technology, this app, I don't know what this app is called, but it's futuristic. And it gives us the information we need. So on the app, it shows the matchups, it shows the over-under, it shows the spread, and through the magic of science and wonder and mathematics, we can figure out the implied point totals for each team here. And look at that. They're even color-coded, so you can see where the really bad teams are and the really pretty decent teams. So let's start with this first game here, Chargers at Falcons. And again, on the sheet, we can put in multiple players from the same team, but at the end of the day, we can only pick one player from each team. So I'll go to you, Linda, on this one. If you were to start one player from the Chargers, who would it be?
You're not going to like this because I'm going to start with a kicker right out of the gate.
Oh, boy. Let's hear
Expect
it.
nothing less.
Listen,
I
Lad
have to scroll.
I know. When I opened the sheet, I was like, oh, it's my time to shine. But
I don't even put them on the screen.
Atlanta is allowing the most points to kickers. Obviously, the running back situation in LA is not great right now. And then Justin and Ladd will be fine. But I'm going a stalled offense, and Dick are getting quite a few field goals off against Atlanta.
Boom shakalaka. I kind of love that because now we don't need to really think much about it because, Ladd is fine. But again, at the end of the day, when we can pick from everyone, we're going to probably sit here and be like, are we going to start Ladd McConkey or are we going to start Justin Jefferson? You know what I mean? So I feel good about that. On the Falcons side, Wyatt, anybody that jumps out of you?
Yeah, for me, it's Drake London. The Chargers defense has been really good all season long. They don't allow a lot of points, but they're actually secretly slightly bad against wide receivers. They allow the 23rd most fantasy points to wide receiver, adjusted fantasy points to wide receivers. I just like that Drake London is now working in the slot a little bit. They kind of like turn him into a bit of a power slot and just like feeding him with volume. And I'm a big fan of that.
I love that, man. And one other thing we'd like to do on this show, Rich Rebar actually started it, and ever since then we've been doing it, is that if there's a player that we don't think we're going to use, but we really think is a good player, we put them on the sheet out of respect. So just to have their name in there out of respect, I'm going to put Bijan's name. No respect to Kyle Pitts right now, but I'm going to put Bijan Robinson's name on the sheet out of respect. Is that fair to you guys? All right.
Oh, yeah.
One team in, one sip of eggnog. Cheers, everyone.
I put whiskey in my afternoon coffee for y'all since I know you had eggnog.
I will allow that. All right, folks at home, make sure you're drinking some sort of eggnog or Truly or coffee with alcohol in it. That's part of today's show. That's a special magic of Thanksgiving show. All right, next one here. Seahawks at Jets, 42-point over-under, which is pretty gross. 1 point spread in favor of the Seahawks. If we're going to go with a Hawk, Wyatt, thoughts?
Yeah, it's Kenneth Walker for me. I actually think the line is kind of bad. I like the Seahawks a lot in this game. I just don't think the Jets are very good anymore. Aaron Rodgers looking bad. The defense has been really bad since Robert Saleh got fired. I think this is a game where they're going to rely on Kenneth Walker a lot. The Seahawks do have one of the highest pass rates over expected in the league, but we've also seen games where when they're just up, they're happy to just run the ball.
Yeah, I thought that line was strange too. I also thought that 42 felt a little low to me, but
yeah, I agree.
On the Jet side, Linda, there are a few options here. I know you've been spending all week crying about Breece Hall potentially being out. So you of all people probably know the latest. What's the deal with Breece Hall?
He got a limited practice in yesterday. I checked right before bed. So
today,
we'll see what happens. But that's going to really suck. We talked about Garrett Wilson. I don't know it's not fun to bench him. I have a couple times. It usually backfires when I do. So I guess, but I'm not starting Aaron Rodgers. You could start Braylon Allen. I don't think he's as good as Breece Hall, but if they get, close to the end zone, he probably gets you a touchdown. But I'm not thrilled about any Jets players.
Have you guys played this format before?
I have not.
This is the first.
Okay. So the top scoring teams, typically what they have is the good chalk. So the top 3 ranked running backs, top 3 ranked wide receivers. And then they have a differentiator, somebody that you really think is going to blow up like crazy. So sometimes a guy like Braylon Allen might be the play. There were definitely times where guys like Jordan Mason were on the table, but I think I'm with you, Linda. I don't know if we need to go there, but should we put his name on the sheet just in case? maybe not.
We can put some respect on him. I mean, that Jets offense has not been fun to watch. And then if Brees is not playing and Aaron Rodgers is like already talking about how sure he wants to play again, but not for the Jets, and they're talking about like benching him for the rest of the season, I just can't imagine there's a whole lot of like passion and grit in that performance this weekend.
Yeah. Vibes got to be so weird around there. It's got to be so weird, dude, because you got this quarterback that's just like not showing up to practice and just telling everybody to chill out. Like, wouldn't you want like the opposite in a situation like this? I just can't imagine being a Jet. It's got to be fun right now.
The vibes are bad.
Vibes are bad. Vibes are no good, dude. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Hal's got a question here. 14-team Superflex tight end premium, 0.75 PPR, half point per carry. You guys got all that?
Yes.
Start, and this sounds like a Superflex spot. Aiden O'Connell, Jeremy McNichols, Rashad Bateman, or Chig. I gotta say, for my rule of thumb is that like, unless you have a stud, you just start the quarterback, because at the end of the day, when you go back and look, most weeks there's like 20 plus quarterbacks that are scoring double-digit fantasy points. Even the bad quarterbacks, you throw for 100 yards and a touchdown, that's 10 points. You know, like it's kind of really hard to be terrible in Superflex. So I'm just gonna start at the quarterback. Right?
They're also significantly safer than skill position players. And like, I was given some consideration to McNichols. That's why it's a little bit hard, because if B-Rob and Eckler are both out, McNichols could get enough volume with like the carry bonus that this is worth it. But we've also seen them in games past roll out Chris Rodriguez and give him, carries too. So it's just not safe enough. I'd rather just play O'Connell.
It's funny, they released Chris Rodriguez and then they were like, just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Why don't you come? I actually only cleaned half your locker out. So why don't you just come right on back in? We're going to need you this week. So, all right. I'll go on the quarterback. Any objection there, Linda?
Nope.
Good. All right. Next game here. Colts, Patriots. Patriots, one of the most hopeful and exciting teams for the future. And then the Colts, who are just kind of whatever. Linda, is there anybody from this game, like just at all from this game, that we would use in a format like this?
Maybe the Colts defense, if you didn't like any other matchup, but even that, I'm like, I don't, nothing's like jumping out at me.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's getting the snaps, but like, he's kind of been not that good.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson steals from him, especially near the goal line. I was gonna say, like, the one that like we could look at it as like the contrarian play when we're looking for that at the end of the day is, Hunter Henry getting in the hen house as always. Colts defense pretty bad. They're also really bad against tight ends, and we know that Henry is one of the main targets for Drake May, and especially in the red zone.
Dude, now you're talking my language. I think, and here's the thing I didn't mention is that sucking up on a show like this will get you everywhere. Okay. Like some people will discourage it. Not here. Here, absolutely.
I know how to get to the top.
So yeah, exactly. 1 point, Wyatt. Linda, you just lost the point because you had the opportunity to say Hunter Henry. You had an opportunity. I gave you the opportunity to pick any player from either of these teams, and you picked the Colts defense, which is disrespectful to the Patriots, but also a pretty good pick. So I'll give you 1 point back. You're back to 0. All right. Next game here. Cardinals, Vikings. Vikings implied point total of 24.25, same as the Chargers. So probably should use somebody from there. Is it just Jefferson? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty easy.
I think it's easy. All right, Cardinals side. This is also FFPC is also tight end premium.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy here, right? Trey McBride is that dude.
I just like giving you the answers to the test on that one there, but
everyone knows the answer to this one.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys where you guys stand? Like, Linda, where do you stand on Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Further back than I stood draft season.
Just kind of Homer Simpson backing into the bushes.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be fine, but if I were to redo my rookie draft, I don't know that I would have Marvin Harrison Jr. as high as we had him in draft season. And I certainly wouldn't have drafted on some of my redraft teams. So that's where I stand.
And what happens all the time, I feel like with rookies, is that like a running back always comes out of nowhere. So now it's like when you redo a rookie draft, you got to move up Tyrone Tracy and a bunch of these guys that we weren't super high on, I don't know, dude. Wyatt, if you were going to draft or the rookie draft again, where would you put Marv?
It's a really good question. So Daniels is going to be number 1.
Yeah.
Then there's a conversation for like May, Caleb at 2, Neighbors in that conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if I think that, like, I'm probably starting with Marv at 5.
So I mean, I still believe in him long term. He's very.
I still do too. I think it's just a really good rookie class. Like, we got a lot of hits,
Right.
It's almost not even a slight to Marv at this point. And like, he's been good. He's just been too boom bust. It's the problem, I think, is that we didn't like put enough like into the surrounding factors that like the offensive system. They're cool to just run the ball out in some games, which lowers the pass rate. Marv is still getting a high percentage of those passes. They're just not that many to go around, and probably didn't give enough credit to how good Trey McBride is as well. Like, I know like people in this room are probably very high on Trey McBride, but I don't know if we were as high as we should have been.
Like 15 targets last week high.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think I would actually also put Brock Bowers ahead of. Did you say Bowers?
I didn't say Bowers, but that's a good point.
I think I would probably take Bowers.
You're right. I forgot to say Bowers.
With the positional scarcity, I'd probably put him ahead. But honestly, like the rest of the rookie wide receivers haven't. Like I think I'd still draft Marvin Harrison over Ladd McConkey, right?
Yeah, he's still my wide receiver 2 in the class.
Yeah. Scamp, what's happening? Let's go. One more question, then we'll go to the next game here. This one from Angie. Let's say, hypothetically, you were in Queen's Classic and you really wanted to beat Wendy early and you already took a 0 for Roshan. Would you play Richardson or Cousins this week? Now, I know Linda's in this league, so I'm going to recuse her from answering for her enemies. But Wyatt, what do you think?
If you've already taken a 0, I think you have to swing for ceiling. If that's the case, it's Richardson for me.
It absolutely has to be. Yeah. Go big. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Next game here. Texans, Jaguars, 43.5 point over under, 4-point favorites for the Texans. Jaguars, lowest implied point total of any team here. On the Jag side, Linda, anything?
Is Trevor Lawrence playing, or is it still Mac Jones?
Dude, from what I was seeing, it's crazy. Trevor Lawrence is like, I'm either gonna play this week or I'm gonna have surgery. So it's like 0 to 100. He's like, he said he was like, I'm doing a limited practice. He's working with the first team, but then he also said like, I'm not ruling out just having surgery.
Okay, perfect. I like that.
It's a strong maybe. It's a strong.
It's a strong maybe.
It's the most aggressive maybe that you can have.
The Texans have obviously Nico Collins is yes, but I still have a very big heart for Brian Thomas Jr. And so, if Trevor Lawrence is playing, I like BTJ. If he is not a Texan, though.
Oops.
Yeah.
Stupid eggnog.
That'd be a really good offense.
I'm just loading them up. Yeah. All right. How's that look to you guys?
Yeah, I like. Quick note: if Mac Jones does play in the 2 games he's played, the tight ends for the Jags have combined for a 45% target share.
Yeah. He's keeping it
check
close.
Down Charlie.
Yeah, 15 targets for Ingram, but it's just like he's getting buried immediately.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Kind of rough. Gridiron Guru wants to know Debo or Devonta Smith. Linda, what do you feel on that? Debo's been pretty bad. Devonta Smith has been.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy is like through like one pass, and they were like limited practice. So I'd probably go Devonta Smith.
He watched other people throw a pass and said limited.
I'm going Smith.
I think he did like a playful one. He's just joshing.
Is Devonta Smith even going to play?
He limited practice, but I think he will.
Yeah, I mean, if he's playing, that's who I'd go with. But you might not have a choice, unfortunately.
Sometimes I like when that happens. I'm not gonna lie. I hate having to think. Welcome to the show where we don't like to think and we're drinking eggnog.
Listen to me. I don't think.
Listen to me. I don't like to think. So stop asking me questions, Gridiron Guru. Also, if Kincaid is out, would you go with Noah Gray, Noah Fant, Dawson Knox, Chigga Conquell, Austin Hooper, Juwan Johnson, or Mike Gesicki? A real who's who of who I would hate to have to start. So go ahead, Wyatt.
Probably Knox. I think like that's the safest projection out of that grouping.
I agree. If Kincaid is out, because he's still people like I thought he was going to be more of an inline tight end. He's not. Like they actually both play slot. Like they both, it's very annoying. I kind of
Gray gets a little
out.
bit consideration just because. Sorry, Linda. Gray gets a little bit consideration just because I think like the Chiefs let like a secret out of their bag early that like no Gray is part of their plans.
Yeah.
But, sorry, Linda. Go ahead.
It was nice. I kind of like what they're doing because now they're basically saying to you, "Hey, you're going to have to cover this guy. Like if you play us, you're going to have to cover this guy." Which some of these teams, I'm always surprised. Like the 49ers with Kyle Juszczyk, they don't ever give him the ball. Like you don't have to even cover that guy. I feel like that makes you really one-dimensional. Now I was going to see how long we could filibuster and not let Linda say what she wanted to say. Go ahead, Linda.
I either dreamed it or I read it last night, but I'm pretty sure Kincaid was designated as out this week. I feel like I read that. Yeah,
I think I saw that too. So Knox, get him in there. Ubiquitously from the Twitch gang. Oh, I don't have my sunglasses. No Twitch glasses. If you guys have sunglasses, throw them on. Need half PPR. Need one in running back, one flex. Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Drake London, Terry McLaurin. So kind of the opposite problem here, where all his players are too good.
Yeah, this one's a toughie.
I think it's Drake London and then one of the other guys.
I have Drake London projected the highest, and then probably Jonathan Taylor after that. But that's a little bit tough. Because
I think so. With Taylor, the thing is, there's only 3 guys playing more than 80% of the snaps. Running backs.
That's you just kind of rely on that.
Exactly. 80. I think he's at 81. And McCaffrey and Kyron Williams play like the whole game, but like he's one of the few guys that actually plays a ton. So there you go. All right, let's get back into what we're doing here. The main goal for those just joining us, we're building an FFPC lineup, which means we're pulling all the best matchups from this week, and then we're going to see how many we can cram into a lineup where you can start anyone you want. You just can't start 2 players from the same team. So pretty cool. If you want to get set up over there, use promo code Coop at myffpc.com. They'll give you $25 when you deposit $35 more, and you can jump in and play against us. And we are playing in Weekly Challenge 90627. So if you think everything we're saying is stupid and our team is bad, well, guess what? You know who we're starting already, and you get a little leg up against the rest of the field. We have finished in the money a couple times on this show. What we do, here's the breakdown.
No pressure.
I forgot to tell you guys before the show how it breaks down. If we finish 3rd or 4th, that gets us we can either take $100 or take a $125 voucher for best ball, and then we do a free best ball tournament, which we'll probably do that. 2nd place, you get either $300 or $350 entry into Fantasy Pros, which we might do that. And if we come in 1st place, I think we get like $600, which we will take and spend on food and booze at the Fantasy Football Expo, which we would probably do that. So we're going for 1st place here. That's the plan.
Sounds great. Why don't we just do that?
I see. That's what I was thinking. So we'll just get all the best players in here, and we'll go in first, and then we'll party. All right. Next game here: Titans Commanders. Commanders big favorites, 6-point favorites, 44.5-point spread. So that's going to give us the highest implied point total of any team we've thought about thus far. So Wyatt, I will make you pick someone from the Titans this time if you do want to take somebody from that team.
I don't really want to go with it, but if we're going to, I think Calvin Ridley is the easy choice. 16.9 PPR points per game since DeAndre Hopkins left. Lots of targets. This spread makes you think that the Titans are going to have to throw a lot in this game. So, yeah.
Nice. And then, Linda, our sweet darling angel, you get the Commanders.
I'm starting Brian Robinson Jr. if he plays, and I think he will because they didn't move anybody up from the practice squad, and I like that matchup for him.
That's your guy now, huh?
I have a lot of guys this year.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, I drafted them all blackout drunk in Canton.
And you're like you're just destroying those leagues too, right? Are you still up at the top of like Queens and the Women of Fantasy Football leagues?
Yes.
Love that. Eat it, nerds. All right, so that's all we're going to consider there, or would we consider Jaden Daniels?
Definitely a consideration for
out of respect.
Yeah, gotta. He will always be.
Yeah, he rocks. Okay. Next game here, Steelers-Bengals. This one, big real-life implications. You as a Browns fan, Wyatt, like let's put our fantasy football unbiased hats. Let's take them off real quick. Take a little sip of eggnog.
Sure.
And who do you want to win this game? Like if one of these teams had to win the division, which one would you rather it be?
Bengals for sure. I can't root for the Steelers. It's impossible for me.
Really interesting, because it is funny how certain teams in your division hate other teams more than others.
Yeah, I just can't stand them. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest. It's ingrained in me. But like real talk, like I'd like to see the Bengals get to the playoffs. If they could win out, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'd love to see Joe Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, tearing it up in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's funny. Like in my division, as a Patriots fan, I actually don't root as hard against the Bills. They seem like the fans are fun. They're nice. The Bills fans are donating money this week to Travarius Ward's charity for his daughter. Like they're always cool. Whereas like Jets, obviously, oh my God. And then the Dolphins fans are just they're like Miami Heat fans. They feel like they leave at halftime. They're always wearing like fluffy white boots. Like they don't.
You don't even have to worry about them after November because they're done with football.
Yeah, they don't even care, dude. Yeah, they just move down there for the winter and then they move back up to wherever they're from. Like it's just I don't know. So go Bills. What about you, Linda? In the AFC West, is there a team that you hate less? I know you hate the Chiefs.
I hate the Chargers less. I really hate the Chiefs, and I'm pretty adamantly hate the Raiders.
You medium hate the Raiders, or is it like medium extra?
Yeah, it would be like medium well.
Medium well. You medium well hate the Raiders, and then you are a Herbert gal. So
I am.
All right, for fantasy purposes, Steelers. Well, since Wyatt hates the Steelers so much, Linda, are there any Steelers that you like?
Oh, that team is like Chris Boswell's been the leader, except for that every week I get scared to start him. Najee's been okay, but I'm not like jonesing to get him if I can only pick one player from a team. There's nobody that like I want to start really.
It's George Pickens or nobody, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's George Pickens. What about on the Bengals side? Why, as a team that you medium rare hate?
I think like the easy choice is Jamar Chase, obviously, but I think Chase Brown should get a lot of consideration here with the amount of volume he's gotten since Zach Moss's injury, and he's playing well with it. Getting involved as a pass catcher a lot as well. Like I think in this if we're thinking about this contest, which like you mentioned earlier, I mean, I haven't played this contest before, but I think it's very similar to like single entry DFS where you kind of do a lot of chalk plays and then find the ways to get a little bit different. I think Chase Brown could be that way because I would guess if someone's going with a Bengals player, they're more likely to go with Jamar Chase.
That's it. That's the number. You hit the nail right on the head. That's the kind of number one way to win here is if you can manage to thank goodness the Lions already played, because when the Lions are part of the slate is the worst because you're sitting here and you're like the difference between my team and the team that wins. It could be who picks Monty if he scores 2 or Gibbs or who picks Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's like, so that is it. Like if everyone picks Chase and we pick Brown and Brown outscores Chase, that's huge in this format. So let's definitely consider that. Next game here. Do we have any questions in the chat? No. Next game here, Rams and Saints. Saints are underdogs here. 49.5 point spread, 2.5 points in favor of the Rams. I actually did a write-up on this one for Fantasy Alarm. I don't understand why the Saints are even in consideration here. I mean, this team lost 7 games in a row at one point. Did they not? Like, are the Saints really going to beat the Rams?
They beat the Browns.
They beat the Browns. They fired their coach and they won the last 2 games. Like, is that real? Is that juju real, Linda?
Yeah, it's the special teams coordinator taking over as the interim head coach. Of course it's real.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that. Dude, the Rizzler. Rizzy.
Elite name. It was so perfect.
They're Rizzy, dude. They love him. And the first thing, did you see that video right when they fired Dennis Allen? Like the next day, they were all in the locker room with like the lights off, with like the disco ball going. Like they're having fun. So
it's so funny because 5 years ago that name means nothing. Now it's like the best name.
Now it's the best name ever, dude. What a huge upgrade, bro. Like and his first name's Darren. Like there's certain names, like obviously the name Karen has taken a steep hit. Like just
Yeah, all-time low. Down bad.
Oh, Darren's are fine. Karen's are down bad. But the Rizzies, dude, the Rizzlers are rocking.
Stock is way up.
Rizzy stock is through the roof, dude. So you always gotta be worried that somebody out there is just gonna be a serial killer with your name, right? Like,
yeah.
Then you're gonna start using your middle name
like a little bit.
you just gotta hope that doesn't happen, it's always it's something that's always there lurking, okay, so for
keeps me up at night,
right? It's like if you ever see my Twitter handle change from Andrew Cooper to Andrew R. Cooper, you'll know that there's Andrew Cooper out there, that ruined it for the rest of us, so okay, what are we talking about? Oh, football. On the Saints side, okay, and this is tight end premium, and I think you can start Taysom Hill at tight end.
Yeah, and he's actually getting targets.
I know. That's why I have to rank him. Usually I would ignore him, but actually on FFPC you might not be able to start Taysom Hill at tight end.
Oh,
because they're the controversial. You cannot start him tight end. Excellent, that's great news. So okay, we're not going to put.
We know you'd hate to have to rely on him.
I truly do, dude. So, yeah, it sucks, but he's actually. I mean, he's getting targets. So week 6 and 7 of last year, when Juwan Johnson was out, I ranked him those weeks too. People think that I just never ever put him in the rankings, but I will rank him if he is being utilized in a way that offers some consistency, which he is. I think I ranked him tight end 6 this week. So everybody, leave me alone. On the Saints, we cannot use Taysom Hill. So it's Alvin Kamara or it's nobody.
Yeah, basically. Okay. I refuse to play anybody else.
Yeah. Let's hear from Linda on the Rams, though. This is one of those ones. This is one of those teams where it's like you got to pick the right guy. And there's 3 guys.
Yeah, and there are several guys. I'm still probably starting Puka because I think his targets are better than Cooper. Like Cooper Kupp last week, you were waiting at the end with bated breath, hoping he caught a touchdown, which he did, and that was great. But Puka was already at 23 points on the week, so I'm going Puka for target share alone.
Yeah, guys like Cooper Kupp and Amon-Ra St. Brown, they always seem to deliver that late touchdown. I truly think they care about us. I think they do. I think they do. I think they're like, Coach.
So they've been getting my letters then.
Yeah, he's got a podcast now. Amon-Ra St. Brown's got a podcast now, which is, once you enter our world, now you get it. So Eckler's been in our world. What about Kyren Williams? Out of respect, 88% snap share on the year, which is insane.
Yeah. He's definitely always going to be a consideration. Things have been down for him lately. I think he had a touchdown last week again, which is nice. But we are seeing Corum get more opportunities. Not enough that he's worthy of playing or anything like that. Just enough to piss you off if you're Kyren Williams or Andrew.
Enough to put on your roster. And Corum as well, not enough for you to start him, which is the most annoying. But at least it lets you know that if anything happens, then he could be the guy.
Right.
Probably the best handcuff right now, I think. Just because the way McVay uses Kyren Williams makes me think that he would do the same thing.
Well, we're about to find out when Braylon Allen plays and starts for the Jets, if he's the best.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Or it could be Trey Benson.
Nah. It could be.
Amari DiMercado is going to take his targets.
Amari DiMercado. He's an Italian-American. He invented America. That's what he did. In this house, Amari DiMercado is a hero. End of story. All right. Next one here. Buccaneers, Panthers. Panthers, 6-point dogs. Panthers have been actually kind of okay lately. Am I imagining that?
No.
Okay. So they won 2. They took the Chiefs to the wire. Almost did the funniest thing. But I actually think they might be coming around a little bit. Is there anybody we could start though, Linda? It's something like this.
Probably not.
I don't have any of their players in the top 10 at their position. Or we need guys that we're using to be ranked minimum top 50. Yeah. So sorry, but we're rooting for you, champs. What about Buccaneers side? Why?
Bucky Irving, I think at least has to be a consideration. Panthers are the worst defense in the league against running backs. So Irving first time last week playing more snaps than Rachaad White. I think Rachaad White is starting to fall back into that role we started to like project for him when Bucky Irving looked like that dude, where Rashad White's probably going to be the main pass catcher playing third downs and stuff like that, but Bucky Irving's going to take a lot of the rest of the stuff. And in a game where they're favored like this, you don't expect the Panthers to have to be in like must pass situations very often. So
Right. So
Can we get Mike Evans for respect though?
I think we absolutely out of respect.
of course.
K Dot. So K Dot, and here's the thing. The Panthers are by far the worst team versus the tight end. That's mathematical. It's like, well, actually, maybe not by far. The Panthers and the Jaguars together are by far the worst two teams versus tight end. But K Dot kind of disappeared on us last week, man. That has me a little scared. I'm still starting them where I have them. It's like unless you have 2 top 10 tight ends, you're just going to start them. But here's the thing that's got to scare people big time if you have K Dot. If he doesn't do well this week against the Panthers in this matchup, not only is that a huge red flag because they're so bad, but they play the Panthers again in championship week. So it's like, I don't know. I got my fingers crossed on this one. I'm about to put him on the cheat out of respect just to get him a little boost, to get a little mental boost.
Yeah.
Cade.
Because he's watching. Because they care about it.
Cade's at home. He just went, yes.
I knew it.
Catching a touchdown for him this week.
I knew it. Yeah, he's so nervous now.
Yeah, he's going to score and actually find a camera and say, "This is for you, Coop.
This is for you." He's like, "I don't want to let you down." He goes to Liam Cohen. He's like, "Look." It's like they were drinking eggnog. They said they believed in me. Am I going to let them down? Last question on this game: is Baker Mayfield the most fun player to watch in all of football right now?
He's up there.
As a long-suffering Browns fan, it's back and forth because I wish he was still with us.
I know.
I do actually love to see Baker succeed because I was always a fan of Baker. Yeah. I love watching play, and he embraces his city so much. Like he's such an easy player to root for.
Yeah, he rocks, dude. I love Baker, man. He's having fun out there. Okay, next one here: Eagles-Ravens. This is a big one. This is a 4:00 game. I wish it was a night game, but what are you gonna do? Eagles-Ravens. These teams very rarely play. They actually haven't played since 2020. I was trying to see if I could figure a little something out about this game. I don't know anything about it. So I will ask you then. First of all, are the Ravens 3-point? Should the Ravens be 3-point favorites against the Eagles? Yes or no?
I think any team should get a 3-point advantage over Nick Sirianni. Like just like whatever you think it's going to be, give him 3. You know
just
what I mean?
Crybaby 3.
That's actually really like the best answer to this.
It is true. Like Matt Eberflus too. Like I can't believe, dude, that game. Dude, how do you waste 40 seconds on like that? The last 40 seconds of the game on one play. What?
Yeah.
With the timeout, with the timeout in your pocket. Like you got voted out.
He thought they handled it well.
They got voted out with
at least the Bears finally corrected that mistake. I'd like to think they were still thinking about keeping him, and then he had the press conference, and they're like, "All right, never mind."
Just crazy business. But anyway, Ravens players. There are a few, but do we just do
the king?
The king. It is
especially with favored.
It has worked virtually every week, and I guess since we're doing that, these are the wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 in fantasy football.
Yeah,
right there.
This is
running back 1 and running back 2.
This is another one of those where if we want to be different, you go with AJ Brown over Barkley, because the Ravens are one of the best matchups for wide receivers in the entire league.
Or we pull a quarterback from here.
Yeah, I mean both.
Yeah, I think either one is.
That's the hardest part is picking the quarterback.
You know that we picked the entire offense on both sides. That it's going to be a 13-10.
I know.
Nasty game.
Hurts is like always a little bit risky because it's basically like, did Barkley get tackled at the 1? If so, like Hurts was a great choice for something like this. If not, he was probably good, but probably not worth it.
Yeah, the problem with picking one running back and one quarterback from each team is that you're also basically picking who wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we want to do that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to that. Let's get the next one here. 49ers at Bills. Bills big favorites here, which I guess makes sense. Purdy, Linda, you said you were kind of looking at it. What do you think Purdy's going to play?
No, I don't think Purdy is going to play.
That would suck.
It's a lot less fun to watch for sure.
All right. Is Christian McCaffrey? Do we just avoid all the 49ers then? I don't think I want to start any of the pass catchers if Purdy's not going to play.
If you had to start one, it'd be Kittle, just because I think he can still perform as just that outlet for Brandon Allen, and he's so good after the catch. But I don't actually want to play any of them.
No, he did do good last week though. I thought he was going to be bad. And then on the Bills might be an even harder team to pick. 49ers have been susceptible to the run to some degree.
Yeah. And the Bills are favored by so much, you think they're going to be able to run the ball a lot, which they have no problem doing, which leans you towards James Cook a lot. But in a game like this, will they just give Ray Davis some more run?
Or we could just start Josh Allen. That could solve a lot of our problems. Linda, what do you think? You're the Josh Allen whisperer.
I was going to say Josh Allen, but I agree that James Cook could get some play if they get up early. But if they get too far, the 49ers defense has been bad, really bad. A disappointment because they have all these individual players that are insane at their jobs, but something is not gelling.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Allen, they're coming off a bye week. I just wouldn't be surprised if Josh Allen went out there and had one of his classic playground games where he just runs like a maniac.
Right.
So
right.
Josh Allen.
Charvarius Ward playing his first game in a long time. Apparently, Fred Warner's been playing on a broken ankle.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Dude, I just saw it. Dude, I
playing on a broken ankle?
Yo, here's how crazy it is. So I just heard that, right? And I saw the tweet he's playing on a broken ankle. Or I heard on the broadcast. And then I Googled it. And apparently he broke his ankle against the Patriots, which was week 4. So he's been playing the entire season with a broken ankle.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How is that not on an injury report? How?
Yeah, exactly. He's not even.
How do we not know that?
Shanahan doesn't care about injury reports.
No. That's true. It is because but I feel every year at the end of the year, somebody comes out and they're actually I broke my collarbone week 4, but I played the whole time.
That's literally every hockey team, every hockey player ever, right? It's yeah. By the way, one of my ribs broke and it's been inside of my lung for the entire season.
You can hear it whistle if I.
Toot toot. He's the 10-minute on his chest. It's dude, you just won the Stanley Cup, and he's yeah, I'm actually dying.
I'm being airlifted after this game.
Yeah. Dude, I watched a guy lose his entire top row of teeth, and he missed one period. It was some guy.
They're a different breed.
Yeah, it was Oliver Ekman-Larsson or something for the Coyotes. They're you might actually bleed out. And he's yeah. He just had to keep his mouth shut for the rest of the game. Keep that blood inside.
Entire game.
Yeah, that's literally every hockey game. And the reporting for injuries in hockey, fantasy hockey is impossible because of it. I don't know how our buddy Nate does it over at
Apples and Genos.
Shout out to Nate. If you play fantasy hockey, he rocks. But the injury reports are upper body injury. He may or not play. And then it's then there's a report that he's going to go on IR for 7 months, and then he plays and scores 3 goals on your bench, and then he goes IR. It's just I don't know. Enough complaining about hockey. Let's talk about the marquee matchup of the week. Number 1 in everyone's hearts, and why we had these special guests on this week. We have a Browns fan and a Broncos fan. Teams that both medium rare hate each other. Actually, there's no hatred between these two teams, right?
I mean, there's a tiny bit because we've got history.
Go on.
Well, the fumble. The Browns lost a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Against the Broncos.
So it's one-sided beef.
Only Browns fans. Yeah,
yeah, Browns remember. For sure. The Broncos are who?
Linda hit me with the madman. I don't think about them at all.
Well, just so you know,
tell
Browns
us about this
fans
fumble.
think about it.
Tell us about this fumble.
Yeah, there's some hatred in our heart for John Elway in the Broncos.
Okay.
The drive.
What was the fumble you were talking about, though? I literally don't know what you're talking about.
We were going in for a touchdown, basically, to win the game in the conference playoffs, and fumbled on the goal line. And then there's the drive in which John Elway then went down and beat us to knock us out. The Broncos have knocked out the Browns at their chances Super Bowl 2 times. So,
oh wow, that's actually pretty important. So that's good.
Yeah, no big deal. I don't think about it at all.
You don't you don't ever think about it, dude.
They have their own names. He's got it like filed away.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the fumble and the drive. No joke. Like I didn't pull those up right now. Those are things.
So Linda doesn't hate you at all, but you're a little. If we're still doing the medium rare stuff, you're still a little pink inside at the Broncos. There, you're
Yeah. If we remove AFC North teams, like the Broncos are probably the top team for Browns fans.
Really, that's interesting. It's funny how that happens because like every team does have those out of division teams that they don't like. Actually, for a long time as a Patriots fan, you had to hate the Broncos because of Peyton Manning, and because we were going up against you guys. Now I don't really care about you guys. I like Bo Nix. Speaking of which, Linda, let's ask you about your Broncos. If we were going to use a Bronco here, what would his name be? Will Lutz?
Oh, probably Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
Yeah, he has been. And it's been nice because we've been like wanting it forever. Like fantasy fans year after year are like, we're going to get something out of Cortland Sutton, And then the year we all gave up and like, it obviously took some time for chemistry to get going, but it's really nice to see Cortland Sutton out there doing what we all knew he was capable of doing.
Right. Yeah. Because, like last year, even if you go back and watch the highlights of his from last year, he made some ridiculous catches last year. Like, insane. His highlight reel is incredible. And then you go look at his stats and you're like, wait, how did he make all these crazy plays, but he had like 600 yards,
Sutton has one of the best mixtapes out there.
Does he? Does he rap?
Well, no, I mean football mixtapes.
I was so much more interested
like
in
the highlights.
I was so much more interested in that. I was like, is this like a Cole Beasley 80 stings type thing going on here? But yeah, he does have a crazy highlight. He just makes crazy catches. So, all right, we'll put his name down. And then for the Browns, I mean, very insanely highly consolidated offense among the top 4 pass catchers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But picking the one is a task.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to play any of them for this matter. The Broncos defense is really good. I don't really trust the Browns to put up too much offense here. But if you were going to pick one, it's the former Bronco, Jerry Jeudy. Last 4 games, with Jameis Winston, 17 PPR points per game. I like that last week he had more routes from the slot for the first time this season, which is important because Patrick Surtain obviously is very, very good, and I don't think he follows him into the slot. I don't know if Surtain shadows in this game at all necessarily, just because we don't have a superstar that he probably cares about, and we'll see. But I think if you're going to play someone, it's Jeudy. But again, I don't actually want to play him.
What's up with Tillman? Did he clear concussion protocol? I didn't look at it.
I have not seen that he has. I mean, concussions these days, it's basically you're always missing 1 week. Unless you happen to have the situation where you get the extra days because of which day of the week you played on the week before, you might have a chance. But normally it's just next week you're done.
Right. This week is so tough for injuries because a lot of the guys get Thanksgiving off, like if they're not playing. So there's no practice. I think the Bills didn't practice on Wednesday either. Like I was looking for anything on them with Keon Coleman, and I'm not sure if they even practiced then. So I have no idea what's going on with injuries and the concussion protocol. I mean, if you're at home eating turkey, when are you supposed to clear it? Yeah. I don't know how that works, but anyway, let's why don't we get in and let's make this lineup, dude. So just real quick going through here, each one of you guys, what's a name that we threw out that you were like, that's my guy for this week? Or somebody you're just like, we have to put him in there. So of the names we have, here are the names on the sheet. I'm not going to scroll over to the kickers, but Cameron Dicker. I'll put Cameron Dicker in, so he's in. London. So wide receivers, we're picking from London, Jefferson, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas Jr., Calvin Ridley, George Pickens, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Mike Evans, AJ Brown. I'm just going to delete George Pickens' name right now after reading all those names. I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry, George. I read too many good names, so you have actually been deleted. Honorable mention rescinded. Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Braylon Allen, B-Rob, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Bucky Irving, Barkley Henry. I mean, there's a lot of good players playing this week. So, because there's no bye weeks. So, I don't know. Give me a name, Wyatt.
I'm probably going to say Nico, I think, is the one. It's probably going to be chalk, but it's chalk for a reason against this defense. called back touchdowns in 2 straight weeks too. Like Nico Collins, since coming back, should have way better numbers. He should be right back where he was like when he was playing early in the season. Really supremely confident in Nico this week against the Jaguars.
He was scoring 20 points a game before he got hurt, which at the time, only him and Jamar Chase. I mean, like 20 points a game is nuts. And he still is, I think he's in PPR points per game, he's still easily top like 10 or so. What about you, Linda? Who you loving on?
I mean, we talked about him being my guy already, but it's Brian Robinson Jr.
Ooh.
I just think he eats this week.
I think honestly, and here's the great thing about this pick is that is on for this format. What's this? Questionable. Linda, is your guy hurt?
He is questionable, but he practiced. They didn't bring anybody up. Austin Eckler's not playing. I'm like 95% sure this dude's playing.
Linda putting a damn hurt player in our lineup with her top pick. But
here's something going to be different.
Here's the thing about doing a Brian Robinson is that if he plays and goes off, like that's honestly as much that is maybe the only differentiation we need. Like if we just pick the top players and they perform, and then we have Brian Robinson, who most people probably don't have ranked in their top 10, because he's they're like people probably thinking like, oh, let's not even go there. But if that works, then that's kind of all we need. So I do love that. Scrolling back through, one name that I really think we got to put in there is Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson against the Cardinals is going to crush.
Get right game for him too. I'm sure he's talking to Sam Darnold saying, all right, come on.
Yeah, it's like last week, I get it. This week it's JJ Town. We said we're going to put in Dicker. There he is. Excellent. All right. So we got our 2 wide receiver spots are filled. If we do one more running back, then the rest are all flexes. And again, it's tight end premium, so we can get a little crazy there. But this week I kind of feel like maybe we just use the one tight end and not go crazy because there's not really. Do we just use Trey McBride?
It's pretty easy to just pick him and go with that.
Yeah. Boring. All right, let's get him in. I wanted Hunter Henry, but it's like. We don't have to be stupid. Okay, running back. Linda, here are the names. Bijan Robinson against the Chargers. Kenneth Walker against the Jets. Chase Brown against the Steelers. Kyron Williams. Alvin Kamara against the Rams. Barkley, Hunter Henry, CMC, Cook.
I think I'd probably go Barkley or Henry, right?
Yeah.
We get one. I mean, we talked about those dudes in excess.
Yeah, let's just put them both in. That's the beauty of this format is there's no salary. You know what I mean? Like we just like we can have Justin Jefferson, we can have Barkley, we can have Henry, we can have it all, right? Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Linda?
Yes, I was reading. I'm sorry.
What'd you read?
I'm reading our roster.
Oh,
I have to. I've had eggnog first thing this morning.
It's cool going real chalky with them too. It's cool going real chalky with them too because Linda had us put Brian Robinson in.
Our RB1 too. We got him in that chair.
Who I secretly have loved like forever with Brian Robinson, like one of my highest drafted running backs in best ball and stuff like that.
But it's just funny. It's just funny to make fun of Linda. Okay, we have 3 flexes, so a lot of big dog spots here. Let's circle back to the teams with the highest over/under point total, like the highest implied point totals, right? Just to make sure we got some of these. So we have a Commander, great. We should probably have a Bengal. So we should probably have a Bengal and a Ram.
So,
yeah, I mean, I'll continue with the call I made earlier. Chase Brown, let's do it.
I think that if we do Chase Brown, then we've done everything that we need to do. We've done everything that we need to do to differentiate, and then we can just start stars. That means we can't use Jamar Chase, but we can use Linda Puka Nacua or Kyron Williams. Puka.
I think Puka. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go Puka. Typey. Are we doing Josh Allen a quarterback?
I think that's a given with Linda here.
Yeah. I think that's nice.
Damn.
But because we used Barkley and Henry and Chase, I mean, like it
Right.
really does kind of rule out most of the options we would use.
And no Jaden Daniels.
No Jane Daniels. So we got to do one more player. We can go with Kamara. We can go with Mike Evans. We can go with Christian McCaffrey. We can go with Kenneth Walker. We can go with Drake London or Bijan.
Cortland Sutton.
I'm starting to see how we could lose because of how many good players are just out, just in general,
Just
very
available,
good
yeah.
players. Yeah. Like the thing with Sutton is that would you rank Sutton? Like, do you have Sutton ranked as a top 10 wide receiver?
He projects as such for me.
Projects as such. Way to dodge the question.
Yes, if you actually look at my Fantasy Pros ECR rankings, he is wide receiver 8 for me right now. So
Okay. So Linda, you in for that?
Yeah. Ooh.
Or do you want to?
I
Or you want
rarely
to
draft I just rarely draft Broncos players because then it's like double the pain when it goes poorly.
well, you didn't do it. I did it for you.
Perfect.
So,
We
okay.
can blame Wyatt. I love it.
Band-Aid off.
Get him in there.
Let's play the game this way. Do you think Cortland Sutton scores more points than Alvin Kamara?
That's a tough question.
Do you think he scores more points than Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey, I don't think is that crazy because the 49ers offense is broken if Brock Purdy's not
Let's
there.
get him in there, dude. It's Thanksgiving. We're putting our guys in there. All right. Did we get my guy Hunter Henry in there? No, we didn't. But you know what? You guys are the guests, and that's what this is about. It's about you guys. So
okay, but we got to come up with a defense. And I was going to say earlier when we were breaking down the games that the Broncos defense was an option. So do we want to pivot?
That is a really good option, actually.
Wow, Linda with the last second curveball.
I forgot to say it earlier.
We should do it because this is big for her because she's picking the Broncos.
They're the second highest projected on this platform, and it solves one of our problems because now we can't start Sutton.
Okay,
I dig it a lot, actually. Good call.
But it obviously creates another problem for us, which is that now we need another player, and it's not going to be Hunter Henry because that's stupid. Okay. But maybe
he was hoping somebody would be like, no.
I was hoping somebody would step in. I was hoping somebody would step in with an argument in favor of him. But it's not. It's just not a good play.
Yeah, it's probably Alvin Kamara then, right?
That would make me happy.
Well,
I think
that's all we're
great.
shooting to do.
No, it's about you guys this time around.
No. It's your show.
No. Trey, last question in the chat. Trey wants to know: start Hunt over Chuba in the flex.
I am not with Pacheco back.
Yeah. Chuba's been good. Chuba played 55 snaps and Jonathan Brooks played 5. So
Buccaneers defense not very good.
Yeah.
And I think Pacheco not playing last week is like really good news for this week because I think that was a situation they were playing against the Panthers last week and they're like, we don't need to force this. We'll just wait till next week with Pacheco.
God, I wish they would have lost. That would have been so funny.
Oh my God, I was rooting for it so bad, dude. All right, hey, you know what? We got our lineup, and here's the final lineup, everybody. A nice, humble, modest lineup of Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Brian Robinson, Nico Collins, Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Chase Brown, Puka Nacua, Trey McBride, Cameron Dicker, and then Denver's defense. Why does it say Den? All right, Den. Let's go. Hi, Den. Let's go. All right, Wyatt, tell everybody what you got going on, man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. You guys rule, dude. This is fun, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me over and over again so I can finally
dude, I seriously, the two of you guys, last year, Linda, because I know you guys have tough schedules, and I was like, me and Linda actually scheduled one for like, Linda, what was it, like the 2 days before Christmas? And then as it came around, both of us were just like, you know what? Let's not do a show on Christmas. Like, we'll figure it out. So I'm so glad we finally got a date that worked. I'm thinking annual. I'm thinking this annual show, guys.
Yeah. Appreciate it again. You can find the most of my stuff at JWB Fantasy Football, YouTube, all that type of stuff. You can find me on Twitter at YB_FF. I write for Dynasty League Football as well. You can get my rankings in the Fantasy Pros ECR every week.
Excellent, dude. And Linda, what about you? I know you're out there dominating every league you're in, but where can everyone find your rankings these days?
So the rankings are on Fantasy Life, on Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. I try to get them up there as early as I can on Tuesdays, so you're ready for waiver wires. They're usually up by 8 at the latest. And then on Wednesday mornings, I have a streaming article and a fade article come out on SB Nation. And you can find me on Twitter at Lindellians. And hi, Auntie Coop.
Yes, dude. You hit it all. You knocked it all out, dude. Any Coop in the chat. Lainey loves Den. She do. Excellent. For me, there's only one thing going on for me that you guys need to be aware of. Why do I still have this on the screen? Let's get this out of here. Only one thing you guys need to be aware of for me right now, and that's that today, Black Friday, is more than just a special day with special guests. We have a sale going on at Fantasy Alarm where you can actually right now get $100 off the annual membership. This is the best deal we run all year. If you get in now, you get obviously the rest of DFS for football. You get all of baseball season. It wraps all the way back around to the point where you get the rankings for hockey, the rankings for basketball when that comes out. And guess what? Every year we do a Black Friday sale. So if you do a 1-year Black Friday deal right now, there's probably going to be another deal for you to load up on next year, right at the same time. This is the cheapest our membership is ever, and John Pepper put a lot of work into that really cool Black Friday logo there. I mean, it looks really snazzy, doesn't it? It's like a classy party, you know. This is a classy show. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Linda, Wyatt, I love you guys, man. Thank you for coming on. That's gonna be it for us. Everybody enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend, and we'll catch you back.